I want you to listen to some of the reporting that's been done on this issue, on this particular immigration issue. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's harder and harder to tell the reporters from the commentators. And they intend it that way. Michael Steele was once lieutenant governor of Maryland, a Republican. He was once chairman of the RNC. He now works for MSNBC. He's part of the cult over there. And I want you to hear him trashing our country. He's never been to one of these detention centers. Never. He was never there when I was chief of staff to Attorney General Meese. I don't remember him ever asking to go to one of these centers. This is many decades ago, but I don't remember. I want you to hear how he speaks. And Stephanie Cutter, longtime Democrat liberal hack, about our country. And by the way, if we have concentration camps in this country, where have the media been? Where have these long-in-the-tooth politicians been? Did you know we're running Japanese-like concentration camps, Nazi-like concentration camps for children in America? Did you know this? I didn't know this till last week. Sick. Cut 8, go.
And think about how he's handling human rights at the border now. And he's trying to blame this on Democrats. Well, why weren't children separated from parents?
This is somebody named Julia Ainsley. Another nobody. Go ahead.
Democratic administration.
All right, stop. Children were separated from parents under the Democratic administration. The difference is that this administration has decided equality under the law. Oh, remember that phrase? Equality under the law. That is, to enforce it across the board. No. We don't want equality under the law. We want inequality under the law. Next, Stephanie Cutter. Go.
It is not the law to separate, and this is an important fact check. Yeah. It is not the law to separate parents and children at the border.
Well, now, hold on now. It is the law. That's how the law works. There's not a specific statute, but you have to make a choice. The parent and the supposed child, we don't know if it's the child of that particular parent, which is part of the problem where they're trying to figure it out. Imagine yourself on the border and people are coming through illegally and you're trying to figure out who is whom, and some 50-year-old bearded guy with a potbelly says, "That's my kid." And you don't know if it's his kid or not. You got to figure things out. You don't even know anything about the guy. And let's say he has a criminal record. Let's say he's been deported before, so now his second time in, he's committed a felony. First time misdemeanor, second time felony. And he has to be processed. Well, they separate the child temporarily from the supposed parent, well, at least the adult, because you don't want the child going through that process. So basically what these people are saying, and they do not have the guts to say it, is let them all in. Well, how else do you process them? Let them all in. These idiots. Go ahead.
The law. It is their interpretation of the law. We are, or used to be, America's greatest democracy. We can't find a solution.
We don't need lectures from leftists about America's greatest. She's choking saying it. Democracy. We don't need lectures from them. The open borders crowd. The lawless crowd. The sanctuary city crowd. Go ahead.
Without harming children? Right. Without putting them into concentration camps?
Oh, putting them into concentration camps. Does anybody here actually believe that Donald Trump would support putting children in concentration camps? Or that Jeff Sessions would support putting children in concentration camps? Or that any of us, and those of you listening, would want to put children in concentration camps? This is on an actual news channel. Is it not sick beyond belief? Now we get to hear from Michael Steele. Go ahead.
To say, Stephanie, to that point, it's not even an interpretation of the law. It is a policy.
You're wrong, dummy. It's the enforcement of the law. It's the enforcement of the processes that are in place. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about. You're rambling on like a moron, which is probably why you're on MSLSD. Go ahead.
and a policy that has been invoked by the President of the United States and dictated to his Attorney General, who goes out and quotes the Bible. By the way, a passage that was used to justify slavery.
Oh, so basically Sessions is in favor of slavery? Is a racist? Michael Steele, you have plummeted to the lowest depths imaginable for a paycheck. Go ahead.
This country to justify encamping children. I call this a concentration camp for kids.
You know what? You know what I call you? I call you as dumb as they come. I call this Stephanie Cutter as dumb as they come. A concentration camp for kids. Beyond belief. This is what Michael Steele thinks our country is all about. Following the line of the most radical leftists on MSLSD. You know, we have concentration camps for little kids, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's true. I just heard Michael Steele say, he calls it concentration camp for kids. Because that's exactly what it's turning out to, he says. Then we have Gayle King on CBS This Morning today. Cut 9, go.
I'll say, Alex, you know, we arrived yesterday afternoon. We went straight to the facility, the location, where kids and their parents were reunited. And all I can say...
Wait a minute. They were reunited, Mr. Producer? I thought we were running concentration camps. The kids were reunited with their parents. Did you see any of the cases, Gail, where the kids were protected from the adult who claimed to be a parent, but he was a pedophile or a drug runner or a member of the MS-13 gang? Did you see any of that, Gail? Because there's a lot of that, too. Go ahead.
The people, watching the people, listening to the people, that the Statue of Liberty, I think, is weeping right now. It's unbelievable, the stories that we heard. People say that this zero-tolerance policy...
The Statue of Liberty is weeping right now? Why would the Statue of Liberty be weeping right now? These people are illegal aliens. They're not even going through legal ports of entry, legal places of entry. Is Gayle King aware that people were actually turned away, some cases, on Ellis Island, if they weren't fit? I said fit to be American citizens, because back then we had a whole bunch of requirements. That you would be loyal to one country and only one country, that you had a job waiting for you, and so forth and so on. Here, you're not even allowed to ask those questions. Go ahead.
Zero humanity. What do you say to that? I've heard some describe this, and the rhetoric is very heated right now. The conversation is very heated. And I've heard some people describe this as a form of child abuse. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, I do. I think an adult who brings a child across the border, who's been informed by lawyers or Mexican diplomats or Central American diplomats on exactly how to conduct themselves to try and force themselves into this country, I think that's child abuse. I really do. Then there's Bret Stephens, the low IQ buffoon, who was booted, I guess, from the Wall Street Journal editorial page onto the pages of the New York Slimes. And he remains buffoonish no matter where he writes. Let's hear what this genius had to say. Cut 10, go.
One quick point. You know, Angela Merkel, the Europeans have worked very hard with Turkey, with other countries, to make sure that the refugee crisis there stays outside of their borders.
Oh, they've done a hell of a good job, Germany. Haven't they? That it stays outside its borders? Is Bret Stephens deaf, dumb, and blind? Answer yes. Go ahead.
Some success, some failures. We could do that. There are options other than a cruel and unusual punishment, almost recalling, I should say, Japanese internment.
Japanese internment. So, you see, we're taking people who are citizens or who are people of a particular ethnic descent. We're taking their property away from them. We're taking their businesses away from them. And we're interning them in concentration camps. Or in camps in the interior of the country. That's what we're doing to the children. Did you know this? You have to intentionally reject all the facts in order to make statements like this. Michael Steele, Stephanie Cutter, Gayle King, Bret Stephens, You must truly ignore virtually everything to trash your own country like this. Susan Collins, who's been in the Senate forever, who's had the power to call hearings over matters like this, who can attract the media anytime she wants to. The media love her because she's a leftist. Where has Susan Collins been for 30 years? That we have these concentration camps for kids, as the late, great Michael Steele likes to put it. Where's she been? Where have all these politicians been? Where have the media been? Right under their noses, we've had concentration camps for kids, like Japanese internment and Nazi concentration camps. Where have they been? We expect the media to report on these things. We expect our members of Congress to make sure nothing like this ever happens, right? Cut 11, go.
But we already know two things. First, from the experience of previous administrations, it does not act as a deterrent to use children in this fashion.
We're not using children. That is your projection. That is what the media are saying. That's what the left is insisting. Go ahead.
And much more important, it is inconsistent with our American values to separate these children from their...
All right. I've had enough about the left telling us about American values. They don't know a damn thing about American values. Let me read something to you, and I may continue it after the break. March 2009, Children of Incarcerated Parents, by some liberal group here. The nation's growing prison and jail population has raised serious questions about the collateral effects of incarceration on children, families, and communities. Whatever one's views about the appropriate role of incarceration in the criminal justice system, it is clear that imprisonment disrupts positive, nurturing relationships between many parents, particularly mothers and their children. In addition, many families with children suffer economic strain and instability when a parent is imprisoned. Research suggests that intervening in the lives of incarcerated parents and their children to preserve and strengthen positive family connections can yield positive societal benefits in the form of reduced recidivism, less intergenerational criminal justice system involvement, and promotion of healthy child development, and on and on and on and on. And there's many articles like this from the National Conference of State Legislatures, Children of Incarcerated Parents, 2009. And does Susan Collins have anything to say about that? What amazes me, Congress passes these laws that result in imprisonment. Or Congress can step in and pass laws that don't. In the case of illegal alien children. But if they pass a law that says that these people won't be separated and they won't be deported, then they're in the country scot-free. They're in the country scot-free. They're not discussing this on any of the cable channels, on any of the network channels, on any of the satellite channels. The Democrats' solution is clear. What is Laura Bush's solution? What is Susan Collins' solution? What is Michael Steele's solution? Not that I really care, but they don't offer it. Instead, we have Japanese internment camps. This is sick. Concentration camps. All these children of Americans who are in American prisons. What's happened to all of them? Where are all of them? Are they in concentration camps too? I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.